Hi everyone, it's Nicole here from Sydney English Teacher and from the Successful English Learner by Sydney English Teacher. And I'd like to say a big thank you for joining me today for session number 5 of my weekly writing task sessions. Whether you're joining me for the first time or you've been with me for all the writing tasks so far, I really appreciate that you have taken the time out of your busy day to really focus on this important English skill, writing. I'm here to motivate you, to help make writing in English a lot easier and a lot more enjoyable, and really to teach you lots of tips and tricks along the way. If you enjoy learning with me and you think that my lessons are valuable, then please tell your family, tell your friends, share this video with them, or better yet, invite them to come and join my free learning community. Thank you so much. So, what are we doing today? Well, I have another fun writing topic for you, and I also have lots and lots of practical tips and some feedback, which I'm sure you'll find really helpful. But before we begin with that, here's a quick reminder to watch the first 4 writing task videos that I've already done. Have you seen them yet? If you haven't had the chance, do please go back and visit them or revisit them and also do the writing practice too, okay? But don't do that now. Stay here with me for writing task number 5, and let's get you all excited about doing some writing this week. Are you ready? Great. Before we move on to the writing topic for this week, let me give you a quick reminder about last week's session and about writing topic number 4, and also give you some general feedback about the writing that I have seen so far. How does that sound? Are you ready? Okay. So last week, I asked you to focus on a place. I said you could choose anywhere in the world. It could be a city or a country, a tourist attraction, a hidden gem, a park, a beach, or even a building. A place anywhere in the world that is special to you, a place that makes you happy, and a place where you feel safe. Where is this place for you? Is it your home? Is it a place you visited? Is it a place you'd like to visit in the future, perhaps? To make the writing and planning process a little bit easier for you, close your eyes and answer these questions. What does it look like? How does it make you feel? Where exactly is it? How would you describe this place to someone else? Have you been there many times? Or is it a place that you dream of visiting one day? I am so excited to read about all these wonderful places that are so special to you. So don't forget to share them with me, okay? And if you haven't had the chance to write anything yet, that's okay. You still have time, okay? Aim for about a page of writing, but don't let the length stop you. If you're inspired, Just keep writing. You can write 1 page, 1.5 pages, 2 pages, even 3 pages. That's okay too. So, there's a quick recap of last week's session. Before we move on to writing task 5 for this week, I'd like to give you some general feedback about some of the writing that I have seen so far. I really hope that you find this helpful and that it makes completing this week's writing task just a little bit easier for you. Are you ready? Okay. My first piece of feedback is please don't use an automatic spell checker like Grammarly or even autocorrect. Switch it off. Even though you might think that it makes the writing and the spelling process so much easier, it actually doesn't, because it trains you not to think. That's right. It trains you not to think by correcting errors automatically. You don't want that. You don't want to learn how not to think. In some circumstances, of course, it's great to have spell check or autocorrect. But you know what? It's not that great when you are learning a language, when you are trying to learn, when you're trying to improve. So instead of relying on automated software to help you, use your own thinking ability. Train yourself to carefully check what you write and then to identify and to fix or correct any errors by yourself. I know it sounds like a much longer, more complicated process, but I know that you will thank me later if you do this. Secondly, my recommendation is to not repeat the same words over and over again. It gets a bit boring for you as a writer, but it also gets quite boring for the reader if the same words appear over and over again. Do you agree with me? Yeah. So instead, this is a great chance to experiment a little and to try out some new words. Use your thesaurus if you have one, or look for synonyms online if you want, to give as much variety as possible for what you want to say. Use alternative words that you wouldn't normally use. It's a really fun exercise as part of your editing process. You can write the first version and then use your thesaurus to add some alternative words. You'll really improve your writing, and at the same time, you will build your vocabulary and your ability to use different words. What a great bonus! Another tip that I'd like you to be aware of is to try and make your sentences a little bit longer. How can you do them? How can you do that? Well, I'd like you to connect your shorter sentences together with linking words. I say this every week, don't I? Use linking words such as and, but, so, and their alternatives, of course, such as in addition, also, however, nevertheless, therefore, as a result. That sounds so much better, doesn't it? Just by doing this, you will lift the level of your writing immediately. So give it a go. And one final piece of feedback before we move on to the writing task for today. And that is about the modal verbs can and could. Well, it's true to say that could is the past form of can. Yep, that's true. This is not always the case. This is not always true. This is not always the situation. It's important to remember that could is also used to express that something is not 100% certain. So, for example, if you say, we could go to McDonald's for lunch, well, it's not happening 100%. It's a possibility or even a suggestion. That's right. While the sentence, we can go to McDonald's for lunch, it's more a stated fact, you know? It's something that you're able to do. Nothing is stopping you. So, for example, she can play the guitar. Here, it's a fact. You know, nothing changes this. She performs this task easily. You know, nothing stops her. But the sentence, she could play the guitar. Yes, it actually could be can in the past. The meaning of can in the past could, if you add a past time word. So yesterday she could play the guitar. Last year she could play the guitar. Yes, in that situation it's a past of can with the addition of that past time word. But in this situation, she could play the guitar. It also has the meaning that it is not certain. You know, something may prevent this from happening. It won't, or it may not happen 100%. Interesting. So that's some quick feedback of the points that really jumped out at me from last week's writing tasks that I've seen. I really hope that these tips help you for this week's writing task. Speaking of this week's writing task, are you ready for session number 5? Are you ready for writing task number 5? Yeah. Well, this week we are going to focus on an object. You're going to focus on your most prized possession, on something that is really special and important to you. Have a think about it. Have a think what this might be for you. Maybe, sorry, maybe it's a piece of jewelry. Maybe you were given this piece of jewelry by your grandmother or your grandfather. Perhaps it's a necklace or a watch that they owned when they were your age. Maybe it's a book that you've read and the story really touched you or inspired you. Maybe it's a photograph of someone that you miss very much. And looking at this photo reminds you of the fun that you had together. Maybe it's your graduation certificate for school or for university, which really represents your amazing achievements, which you're really proud of. Or maybe it's a special gift that was given to you on a special occasion. And it means a lot to you because of who gave it to you, or maybe why they gave it to you. So there's a few ideas. It's completely up to you what you choose to write about. So take the time, have a careful think about what is special to you. And maybe write some notes on a piece of paper to describe what it looks like, to describe what it is, and maybe even to describe why it is so special to you. I can't wait to read all about it. So please make sure that you write about an object that is special to you. Now, the next question is, how long should it be? How long should this week's writing task be? Well, I recommend the same as last week. Aim for about a page. But the more the better, of course. If this topic inspires you and you enjoy writing about your most prized possession, your possession that means so much to you, just keep writing. There is no limit. Just keep writing. If you'd like a bit of a challenge, I have something to make this writing task even more fun. You can describe your chosen object and you can tell us all about it. But don't actually say what it is until the very end. That way, the reader has to try and guess what it is. And then at the end of your writing, they can see if they were right or wrong. How fun is that? Let's make it a bit of a challenge for the reader as well. Do you want another challenge? Well, you can take your writing one step further by trying to include these words. Are you ready? Let's try to use the verb assume. Let's try to use the adjective emotional. And let's try to use the noun inspiration. They're three great words. Try and add them to your writing task for this week, just to make it a little bit more challenging for you. So, everyone, that's all for this week for session number 5. I really do hope that you enjoyed the topic of this writing task and that you found my tips and my feedback really helpful. Please do remember, don't just watch this video, okay? Take the next step and actually do the writing task as well, okay? And don't forget to get in touch. If you have any questions, if anything is unclear, then please get in touch. Contact me because I'm always here to help. I think you know that. So I hope you really enjoyed session number 5. And do come back again next week for session number 6 for another great writing task and another opportunity to practice and improve this important English skill. Thank you so much for joining me. And if you enjoyed this session, please share it with your family and friends. Have a wonderful day. Have a wonderful week. And above all, have fun writing. Thanks, everyone. Bye.